Hello everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is going to be my first video that I post on YouTube, and it's going to be a redesign of my icon that I have for my YouTube channel. Right now, this is what I originally had designed, but something new and I think objectively better came up in my head, which we're gonna finish that design right now, as well as a background for this. It's gonna be pretty fun, and as I'm drawing, I'm going to be discussing what to expect as far as like videos and stuff from this channel moving forward. But yeah, without further ado. Okay, start with introductions. My name's Mario, and the channel name is Axel345, which originally comes from my gamer tag on Xbox 360, and I couldn't be bothered to think of another username for YouTube, so that'll have to do for now. So I'm an artist, and I like to do digital and traditional mediums. Right now I'm working with a iPad Pro, it's 11-inch iPad Pro with Procreate as the software. I'm thinking about getting Procreate Dreams to animate with, but I've also already started with animating on normal Procreate. I've made a couple animations already. I'm going to showcase those at a later date, but for now, that's what I'm using. As for the traditional mediums, I like to do normal pencil drawings, inks. I work with inks, with Copic markers, acrylic paints, and colored pencils. I like to get into like a little bit more, but for now I'll just try to get better at those mediums for now. When I was 6 years old, I came to this epiphany that I might be pretty alright at drawing. I was in a Sunday school, and my teacher, she gave us this prompt that was pretty much for us to draw our favorite Bible story moment. And so for me, it was David and Goliath. And so I get done drawing my Bible story, and she looks at it and oh, this is really good. She shows it to the rest of the class. Oh, like, everybody look at this, ain't this great? And she didn't do it to anybody else, so I thought I was a little bit special. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm actually not that bad. At the time, my brother was actually a good artist for his age as well. He was my older brother, 2 years my senior, and so I kind of thought maybe I have this on him as well. Because when myself and my brother were little, I think starting when I was 5, we had to go through this fun little training regimen with my dad every day, except for Sundays. It was wake up early in the morning, work out for like 2 or so hours, and then, shower, eat, go back inside and study. And we have like a small little allotted time, just like breaks or whatever, and TV time and game time or whatever, but the majority of a bulk of our day was dedicated to this little fun little regimen that my dad put us through. And so when I was little, I would get so easily distracted, and I think to this day I still get easily distracted. But anyways, when it came time to going outside and working out, I genuinely liked doing that. My brother didn't so much, not as much as I did, not nearly as much as I enjoyed it. And so my dad would teach us how to box, how to work out, get stronger. He'd be there for that. And then we would go inside and we had to study, and I hated it. I hated studying. I could not focus for the life of me. Because my dad would have these textbooks, these college textbooks. I don't know where you would get them from, but I think he had a biology textbook that one of his friends gave to him. I know that, but he had a ton of books, and I don't know where he got them from. And he kept giving them to us, and he would have us read certain chapters and have us like explain pretty much what was going on in that chapter. myself and my brother. My brother would always kind of like read it and understand everything, and I would not. I would just never ever like wrap my little noodle around anything in those dang books. And so because I would get so dang distracted, I would just focus on anything else besides this dang history book in front of me. I'll look outside to the trees, longing for the moment for a moment where I'm not currently in a situation that I'm in right now. I would look at my dog, I would look at the greenery, and really just, indulge in that. And then when it came time for us to relay information to our dad as to what it is that we're actually reading, I would just sit there and just nod my head and yep, it did say that. It did say that. And so I would never really retain anything when it came to that. And my dad would catch on and he would make me read again, and I never really wanted to. I hated it. And so the contrast between myself and my brother was that I was the brick and my brother was a sponge. I loved being outside and dirty. I was rough and rowdy, and I could not retain anything, like very well at all. And my brother was the exact opposite, really. He hated being outside. He always complained to me, oh, it's hot, whatever. And when it came down to learning, he was retain everything like a sponge. So good at it. And I was so envious of him when I was little. He was just so dang good at learning. And I couldn't. I could learn. It was just a whole heck of a lot more difficult. You could tell one thing to my brother, he would get it automatically. Tell me the same thing, I'd have to bang my head over it for a couple of hours to actually get around to understanding what it is you're trying to tell me. And so that was a dynamic between myself and my brother. And when I was in the 6th grade, I came to another epiphany, because when I was 6 years old, I think, at the Bible school, I'd never really did anything with the knowledge that I was actually somewhat decent at art. But when I was in the 6th grade, I was eating a bowl of cereal, and they was looking at Toucan Sam looking back at me, and I said to myself, this guy looks really easy to draw. And so I got the nearest piece of paper and pencil, and I drew him. I drew him pretty well. I was like, holy cow, what about Tony the Tiger? And so I pulled the Frosted Flakes from above my fridge, and I draw him, and I think to myself, hey, that's not too bad actually. I was like, it looks a little like him. And so I pulled the Cinnamon Toast Crunch guy, and I kind of screw him up a little bit because he's an actual human, I guess, and they have human face, so whenever I drew him, it was a little bit uncanny, but all in all, not too bad. And at that point, I started walking around with a notebook. Usually it was like a composition notebook and some sort of writing utensil, usually a pen. And I would just draw whenever I could, really. I had this, I was stricken with this disease that made me long to just want to draw like forever and ever, but I couldn't because I had to eat and do homework and stuff. And that stuff took away from drawing, and that sucked. But I would go to the libraries and I'd pick out like the comic books that they have, or any sort of picture books really. They have like dinosaur books as well, and I would just draw those. And I was just in such a rut, I just needed to draw. It was either that or playing my dang Game Boy. But that was pretty much what drove me to, I guess, become a better artist. It's just, I would look at art from all these books, these comic books, these picture books, and these games, and I always think to myself, man, I want to draw like that. Like, that looks so cool. The thing I'm looking at right now, that is freaking cool, and I want to do stuff like that. And so I kept pushing a little bit more and more and more. And when I came to high school, I would still draw, but I was a little bit skeptical because my dad did not think art was really something to be pursued. Like, he was really scared of me becoming a starving artist. And this right here is my attempt at trying to make a living at some point out of my art. So, fingers crossed. And to this day, I'm the only person in my family that really draws consistently. The rest of my family is honestly really good artists. Whenever they try, it's just they don't try as much as I do. So here I am, I guess. I just had a recent urge to pursue this path in my life. I've done so many other things. I've tried so many other things. I tried engineering. I tried other different types of jobs, different avenues of approach, but I never really had any enjoyment in anything else other than making art. Like, it's a genuine joy to make art. I think that art is one of the most magical things you can do ever. You're taking just a couple of resources, whether it be your iPad or a piece of paper or canvas and paint or your whatever. You're taking all these things and you're combining them, and you're doing it with this finesse that shapes out a certain figure or a certain theme, whatever it is. And so long as it makes someone else feel something, that's ultimately, like art or something like that. I don't know. A lot of people have different meanings as to what art is. Art is subjective. Sometimes it's bad. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, this is what I really want to do. Nothing else in the world compels me to do them as much as art. More than working out, more than eating, more than anything, I want to make art. And it really is something that I'm really passionate for. And in hopes that this YouTube actually pops off, looking forward, I want to be able to tell stories, especially. I have tons of stories of all kinds. I have funny little stories. A majority of funny, like, personal stories, but also I have a story in my mind that I'm trying to put out there. And I'm not sure if I want to make it an animation or if I want to make it a comic, but for sure I have an idea of the storyline. And so I'd prefer for it to be a animation, but at the same time that comes with the voice acting, the sound design, the music, all of that I'm gonna have to learn to become at least somewhat proficient in those areas as well. And so that's gonna take a while, I think. But in the meantime, the animation part is at least coming by pretty swimmingly. I'm actually quite happy with how, like, my improvements in that area at least. And I'll showcase that alongside other projects that I have, because I'm always having projects come up, whether it be a shirt design or a tattoo design or a personal project that I have going on, or filling out my sketchbook. All that and then some I'm going to be pushing out onto this channel, and I look forward to really doing the most I can with my art. So to kind of get into what it is that I'm drawing right now, the icon is based off of a character that I have in my story, my original story that I'm working on right now. It's pretty much just taking his headdress and adding a cool little skull in the middle. And this story that I have is going to integrate a lot of elements. Hopefully, I'm hoping that it doesn't get too muddy or messy. That's like my main concern, is if that happens, because there's a whole lot of elements that are being integrated into this one story. It's a story that's, as new perspectives are being added in, the timeline of events shifts And so yeah, it's like this. It's gonna make a lot more sense once I actually work out all the kinks and everything. But right now, I'm actually really excited to make this story and push it out there. Cause I think it actually is a quite wonderful story. And so yeah, the icon at least is based off of the first character we get to see. There's 5 main characters, and it follows the first character for a little bit, and there's other characters, main characters, that are also going to follow, and all their perspectives shift how this first character sees the world, and it shifts his whole mindset, this whole thing, and it breaks down really quite nicely. Actually, it's the way I have written down right now. And so there's that, and for the icon at least. And so for this background that I have for the YouTube background, it's a mix of a couple of wall sculpture, like Mayan wall sculptures that I've seen around. I don't really think there's really anything tying all these together. I just really kind of quite liked all these stone carvings that I've seen sometime in recent history. And so yeah, I decided to have that as my background with. And so I want to close out with this. Thank you again if you stuck around. Thank you for sticking around. And I truly am blessed to have this opportunity, at least to attempt to make this my dream job. And I hope to see you all again soon. Anyways, take care. Bye-bye.